Good to have you. And in less than 2 weeks, Vice President Kamala Harris on January 20th will officially be out of a job. And you penned an op-ed for the Wall Street Journal discussing her next steps, seeing what is potentially in store for her, both politically and not. And the op-ed was entitled this: Will the Vice President run for California governor? So first, to start off the conversation, what do you think?
Well, I think she's got two options, several options. What I said in the op-ed was when she leaves office, she's going to have it's going to be a shock treatment for Kamala Harris. For the last 21 years, she's had a variety of protections. She's been DA, she's been Attorney General, she's been Vice President. And for at least 17 and a half of those 21 years, she's had security protection. She's had drivers, she's had chauffeur drivers. As Vice President, she flew around on Air Force Two, which is a extended 757, Boeing 757. She's been coddled by staff. She's had somebody driving her around. So it's going to be a whole different life. Her Secret Service protection ends on July 20th of next year. So on that date, she's going to be just like the rest of us. She's going to have to pump her own gas, drive herself around, and so she's going to have to decide what to do with her career, with her life. And she has several options, obviously. She was a lawyer. Her license, I checked her out, her law license is inactive. She can activate that very easily. So she can become a lawyer again. And there are several great law firms in California, and she can join one of those law firms and become sort of a fake law practice. They'll parade her around, and she can make a couple of $1 million a year doing that. And then she can sit on boards of directors, probably 6 or 7 boards, make a lot of money, and be the face of that. That's one option. And they can take very good care of her. Any of those options, they'll provide a car and driver, and she can have a comfortable life. The second option is to renew the option of running for president again in 2028, in which case she can have one of those jobs and sit on the boards and start reactivating her presidential ambitions and start thinking about running again. The third option is the one I reviewed in that op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, which is to run for governor of California. And that one, she'll have to make a decision probably here in the next 6 months, 6 or 7 months, because there are already about 6 or 7 or 8 active candidates running for that office, and they've I think 4 or 5 of them have already declared, and they've set up active campaigns. So if she wants to be a viable candidate, she has to get in. Now, she's already the potential leading candidate because 72% of Californians said they would be likely or very likely to support her candidacy for governor.
Let's talk about that first, because a lot of people there, as you said in that poll, said that they would support her for governor. What is her standing in California politics as of right now?
Well, I think she has a lot of weight to carry, obviously. Those polls, Brittany, those polls, I ran, among the other things I did, working, everybody thinks I was just a speechwriter, but I ran campaigns in California. I ran Governor Duke Majan's campaign for governor of California. I helped Pete Wilson's campaign for governor. I ran Bob Dole's campaign for president when he was running for president here in California in 1996. So I have a lot of experience running campaigns in California. And so the reason she's has that such high popularity as a candidate for governor is just pure name ID. She has more name ID than all the other candidates. And name ID in California is like platinum. It's better than gold. And so she has name ID that no other candidate has. The other candidates are like wallpaper, frankly. People don't know who they are. But she also, along with that name ID, she bears a lot of burdens. And she bears the burden that she carried from the Biden administration of a failed presidency towards the very end, of high inflation, of weak foreign and defense policy, of high crime, border insecurity, and now, of course, sadly, what's going on here in Southern California with these fires and the disaster that's taking place.
I want to talk about that. Let's dive a little deeper there, because she carries the Biden administration burden. He's a deeply unpopular president as of right now, and part of the reason why she lost is because she was unable to separate herself from President Biden. Then you have what's happening right now in California, where Governor Gavin Newsom and his policies are being pilloried on the national stage. Will she carry that weight as well?
Oh, very much so. She will bring into California all the burdens that any Democrat carries right now, because what's happening in California now is a Democrat disaster, because the Democrats have held power in California now for the last generation, and all the policies that are taking place, environmental policies that have created the disaster that were taking place, where no water has been going into Southern California, fire hydrants that didn't produce water, water policies that have gone to fish instead of to reservoirs. These are all because of California's been controlled by not only Democratic governors, but a Democratic legislature. And so that burden is carried. But there's another one I mentioned in that Wall Street Journal article, Brittany, and that is, even if she runs, there's another serious question she has to face. Not only will she be asked, Ms. Harris, are you running just to run for president again in 2028? But we want to know, what did you know about President Biden's mental incapacity during the time you were vice president? When you were in the Situation Room with him during those times of potential international crisis, did you see any cognitive disability on behalf of the president? Or were you uncertain with him carrying the nuclear football? What did you know when the press secretary is up there saying that the president had all those mental capabilities about him? When the majority leader, Chuck Schumer, saying and Nancy Pelosi were saying that he had all those mental skills about him. Did you lie to the American public when you said that the president had all his wits about him? So she'll be asked those kinds of questions, and that's a big burden to carry. So maybe the best thing for Kamala Harris to do is to just put her political ambitions aside and just have a prosperous future in front of her as a lawyer, a public speaker, a member of foundations and boards.